It's time to mind your business with me, Jamila Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.
Hello, ladies. How are you today?
We're good. We're good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Mind Your Business podcast. It's great to have you. So let's get started. Kick off. Who are you and what is your business?
Okay, I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
My name is Dr. Dana Selassie. I am the CEO, Creative Director, and Marketing and Development Manager for Buquila Bermuda, which is our latest entrepreneurial endeavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And joining you is?
I'm Jasmyn Swali Selassie. So I'm the operations manager at Bermuda Buquila. And I'm also the production manager at Zion International as well.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you guys. Bermuda Buquila, what is that?
So it's actually a long story, but I'll make it very brief.
Okay.
So we had a coffee shop called Buna, Buna Gallery and Coffee House a couple of years ago, and it was a cultural center, art, coffee house, a great place to come and just sit down and have a very different experience with, I guess, communing with other people, like-minded people, artists, creatives. And from that business birthed a beverage.
Okay.
I am a tequila connoisseur as well as a coffee connoisseur. And in one of my experimental moments, I combined the two and I was like, this is actually really good. And then I sort of worked on it, and my son, Melaku, was actually working with me at the time, and we just continued to work on it. And then we had a group of friends that came together and we were talking about, like, what are we going to call it? It's really good. And then the name Buquila came up. So Buna is actually the Ethiopian word for coffee, which is why we named the coffee shop Buna, which is the birthplace of coffee, Ethiopia. And so Buna became the coffee shop and the beginning of the word Buquila. So coffee and tequila, Buquila.
Nice. That's such an interesting combination. How do you even think to combine the two? Like, why?
Well, I think at the time I was busy. I was in a creative space. I had a whole lot of things going on, and I was like, well, I feel like a coffee, but I actually could do it for tequila right now.
Okay.
And then I was just like, let's just try and put the both together, and the combination ended up being a beautiful blend of both of my loves, coffee and tequila.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. I actually came to Buna and sampled it one day, and I was just like, ooh, look at this. Yeah. I love tequila as well. So definitely one thing that I'd like.
I think one thing people are quite surprised with is that it's not an overpowering tequila and it's not an overpowering coffee.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people that are just completely not coffee drinkers, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And people who are, they do not do tequila at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. So we've refined it. We've refined the recipe. We've refined the blending methods.
Okay.
And we've created this product which we're now bottling and making it available for people in their homes and restaurants, and more of a high-end beverage. Yeah.
Awesome. So you've gone from taste testing, combinations and everything like that to running a full-fledged business. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, the journey, I would say that we're still in the infancy stage. We're still in, the budding phase of defining what this looks like as a business. So we are still working through our business structure, identifying revenue sources, investment sources, financial planning, business planning. So we have our basic structure set up at this point. We've identified our producer, so we can do mass production. We've used AI to help design our bottles.
Okay, cool.
So we've come up with a very unique bottling for it.
Yeah.
We've worked on our brand story, our marketing story, so that's sorted. We are also looking at being very much in tune with the trends within our industry. So we are considering it a liqueur elixir.
Okay.
So even the way we term it as an alcohol beverage, we're still doing a bit of research. So we're anticipating by the end of this year we would have a soft launch, and then early spring of next year our full launching into Buquila Bermuda.
Awesome. So it's like the beverage industry itself is a huge one. How do you differentiate yourself to stand out within that industry?
It's on the premium side, I would say. It's for the people who want a luxury experience drink. It's not a drink you drink to get drunk or have fun. It's a sipping drink. It's served in an espresso size cup. It's smooth taste, and it just has a luxurious feel to it. It's different, and I think with the bottling and how we used AI with it, it's different to tequilas that are already out there, or the coffee tequila that's already out there. So it's a different vibe. It's once you taste it, you're gonna love it. I could say that. I could for sure say that.
Okay. Where do you envision experiencing Buquila? Is it at a coffee shop? Is it at the bar? Like, what do you guys have planned for it?
I think in the initial stages, we're looking at having it in sort of high-end restaurants, high-end bars. We want to be able to allow tourists to take it home with them when they go. So tapping into the airport boutique shops as well. But I think ultimately I want to return to our roots and reopen Buna. And let Buna house its own product. And so, we're going to take a bit of time and reassess what worked with that business. And where, there were gaps, and how we can best strategize so that the experience of Buquila can be embraced at home in Buna, its own coffee shop.
Okay. Now, since this is something new for our listeners, is it something that you enjoy right in the morning, like for a pick-me-up, or is it like evening time? What is the feel of the elixir, like you say?
Well, the beauty of it is that it has sort of the intensity of coffee and the smoothness of tequila. So I've actually indulged as a late morning sip. Again, as Jasmyn indicated, it's not a shot. You're not taking it. You're not drinking it to get drunk. It's not. It's not a party drink. It's more of a luxurious. Let's sit together and chat and let's indulge. Let's experience sort of getting away from the chaos of life for a minute. And because of the origins of the product, so we have coffee, the coffee tradition, and then we have tequila with the Mexican agave plant. We're sort of celebrating the traditions that went into making these two products. So it's not just let's just have a quick coffee to just give me a boost and go, or a shot of tequila to get a little vibe. It's taking it to a whole nother level. It's a very much luxurious experience. It is a journey. So as far as it's whenever you need it.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the team behind Buquila, who you guys are, and how did you come together?
Do you want to speak to that? It's a family business, I would say. We're starting off as a family. Everybody who's in it, we're a tight-knit family.
Yeah.
So we have Dr. Dana Selassie. She's the CEO and the director of communications and marketing. I have myself, which I'm the operations manager. So I do the logistics, make sure everything's running smoothly. Anything that needs to be lined up, that aspect I do. We also have Milaku Selassie, who is our research and development coordinator. So he works on refining the product and doing that research aspect of the product for us. And then we also have Selassie, who is our business development manager. So he's responsible for looking at our finances and seeing where we can progress with that and what would be the best for that. So real family business.
Okay. I love that you've included the entire family. It's great.
Yes.
Because we find that a lot of entrepreneurs take on everything themselves, right? So can you speak a little bit about the importance of having a team and how it has helped you get to where you are?
Yeah, I think teamwork is important. One of the biggest lessons I think that I took away from the Buna experience is that I can't do everything by myself. And being okay with stepping back and letting the people who have strengths in other areas take over. Jasmyn is our operations manager, day-to-day logistics. She is phenomenal. You know, she is the detailed person. She's the checks off everything and make sure things are happening the way they need to. I'm a creative. I embrace the fact that I love the including AI and the development of imagery and engagement with the community. That's my strength. Melaku is my mixologist. He started out as a barista at Buna, and I taught him how to make that first batch, and he's basically taken it to a whole nother level. So he's overseas right now, but he'll be back in Bermuda shortly. And for him, he's all about the taste, the quality of the product, making sure it's exactly how it's supposed to be. So that is his strength, and he's sort of become an amazing barista in the process. And then Mosiah has a business background, so he is actually taking on looking at our finances and making sure our strategy is in place and our business plan. But at the same time, outside of us as an immediate team, being able to join the incubator program to get additional resources and support, you know, we've taken advantage fully of the team that you guys have here at BEDC to make sure that where we have gaps and where you have questions that we reach out. And I think that, again, in hindsight, is one of the things that I didn't do with the first business. So for me, I want to get this right. So I'm making sure that this particular business, you know, we start off from the beginning on the right track. To avoid some of the complications and headaches and things that I went through. But it's only through experience and trials that you learn what you didn't know and how to move forward. So.
And it's great that you've played to everyone's strengths as well. That really does make a difference when you are building a business, right? Because you don't know everything. It's impossible for everyone to know everything and be good at everything. So it's really great to see that you guys have come together and working together to build it.
Yeah, and we get along.
Okay, I was just going to ask because there's some challenges with that.
We do. And so working with Jasmyn, so Jasmyn is actually my oldest son's wife. So she's my daughter-in-law. And so she's been working with me with my other business, Zion International, as our production manager. So she's proven herself to be a huge asset in logistics and management and day-to-day operations. So it was a no-brainer that when we were putting Buquila together that she would be the best fit for that. So she's the glue that sort of brings everybody together and keeps it running. And then it allows us to focus on our strengths as well.
Yeah, that's good to hear as well, because, you know, sometimes working with family isn't always the best thing. So it's good that you've been able to find that balance, play to each other's strengths, and move forward. What has been, I'll ask you both, what has been the most rewarding part of your entrepreneurial journey so far?
Entrepreneurial journey. In general, I think in the last 3 years, I've had a huge learning curve. So having one business fail sort of triggered a number of opportunities, which showed me how much I didn't know about running a business. I'm a creative. I'm great at what I do within my sort of doctoral areas. But tapping into new industries, I need to spend as much time, if not more, learning. So being able to learn and meet new people, networking, that has been great. And specifically with Buquila, I think the beauty of this is seeing how something that started off as a disappointment, the heartbreak of losing the business, birthed Buquila. So it's a story for me of resilience and second chances.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before Jasmyn answers, if you don't mind, how did you get through that or move past the like a business failing? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs will have that happen and then get stuck within that space.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome and figure out that here's what I need to do different and let me try again?
I don't think, honestly, I've completely overcome it. I think it's a continuous process.
That makes sense.
We had a meeting yesterday, and the doubt was still there. Sometimes the conversations still come up, where I second guess my decisions because of the way that business went.
Right.
But I would say it was a lot of tears initially. A lot of tears.
Yeah.
It's like a child.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your baby.
Yeah, you put everything into it. But what I realized is, as a result of that particular business, because my heart was in a place of giving, community, of supporting our people, it came back to me in ways that I didn't even expect. So although the physical location closed, the spirit of Buna never ended. So I had BDC reach out to me, and as a result of the community work that I was doing there at Buna, I was sent to Jamaica to be a part of the United Nations Women. That led to me meeting Madam Ibukonawashika, who she gave me a little shake up, like, what are you doing next? Come on, let's go, let's have it. So that led to, okay, now I need to work on the next business, my next move. And then I had the women's conference. So it became sort of this snowball effect.
Yeah.
Because my heart was actually in a good place. Even though the physical business closed, the spirit of it continued. And it still continues. So here we are today with another birthing of the remnants of Buna.
Yeah.
So
and still keeping that essence.
Exactly.
Which is awesome.
But I still have those moments of doubt. And one of the things that Madam Owashika said to us is, you need to have a brag sheet. You need to have a place in your house, in your room, where you put up all your accomplishments and celebrate what you've done.
Yeah.
And when I look back, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm the first Bermudian woman especially, that has a doctorate in film and television. Wow. I am the first woman to bring Madam Owashika with the United Nations to Bermuda. I have a lot of firsts under my belt, which sometimes we forget because as perfectionists,
it doesn't feel as big as what it should be.
No, exactly.
How big you should celebrate it. Yeah.
And one of the key lessons that I took from her at her session in Dubai was stand in your light. Stand in the hard work that you've done. There are going to be people that are constantly going to be picking at you and are going to be determined to break you and pull you down. Know who you are, and that for me is what keeps me going. So even when I have my moments of doubt, having a support team, having a circle that reminds you that,
and your whole family, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like Jasmyn had to tell me yesterday, she's like, come on, like, let's go, shake this off and let's go. Because, we all have it. And what we don't talk about often is the impact, mental health and anxiety and depression that people go through when taking the leap of faith to start their business. I went through that. So I'm continuously improving and growing, and I'm not reacting as much. I used to, when people would say things, it would hurt. But now I'm hearing it and I'm like, okay, that's for them, that's not for me. And I'm being more selective with who I even let into my space now. Because if you're not helping me, or we're not helping each other to move forward, then we're not on the same page. So being more discerning with the people who you spend time with as well.
I think that's really great advice. And also something you said that's great is that those feelings don't just go away. And you're going to feel them all the time. And sometimes you'll just cry, and that's okay. And I think that's really important for entrepreneurs to remember. Yeah. So something might not have worked, but you've got to pivot and you've got to move on. And it's okay to grieve that, because it's a loss.
It's a death.
It is. It's okay to grieve it. Yep. And grief comes in many stages, and time is the only thing that helps.
And for people that know me, that like are really close to me, they know I'm a crybaby anyway. I'm a crybaby. Some people say, oh, I have this tough exterior, but I really am a crybaby.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tell my daughter when she's having her moment, you know, just have your moment. Let's just take a deep breath.
Yeah, live in the moment for a sec.
Yeah. And so she'll tell me, she's like, Mommy, I'm having an emotion. I'm having an emotion right now. And so I take it from her, you know, I'm having an emotion right now. Yeah. I need to just stop for a minute and embrace that this is what I'm feeling. Yeah. And then shake it off and let's get going.
Awesome. So Jasmyn, let's go to you. Sorry about that, but I think it's just really important to let that be known for entrepreneurs definitely. As well. But what is the most rewarding part for you so far?
I think seeing Buquila about to reach its full potential is really pleasant to watch and see, and I'm thankful for the incubator program that this has been able to happen, because without this, Dana would have let her past probably not get to this point. So this is, it's been an aid to help progress Buquila into what it's going to be. And so it's nice to see that we're making moves and having the mentors and speaking with the mentors and having that platform to access people with this specific knowledge is really helpful in making sure we're not too overwhelmed at one time. Yeah. Whereas, with Buna, we didn't have that. We didn't have access to that. So it was kind of a lot on Dana's shoulders. Yeah. So now with spreading it out and going through and having people to talk to helps us tick it off as we go along. Yeah. So, it's just making the process a lot easier and smoother. And I can see where I can see the difference. Yeah. And it's a nice difference. It's good. It's looking very positive, and I'm happy to be a part of it. and I know what Buquila can be and is going to be. Yeah. So it's nice that we're making progress with it.
Yeah. So you guys have mentioned the incubator program. So just for our listeners, they have joined the BDC Enterprise Bermuda Incubator, which is a year-long program with 6 months of intense coursework online with Accelerate Canada, and then also with 6 months with BDC using some of our resources and mentors. Outside of what you've already said, what has been some of the biggest benefit of being a part of that program?
I think the general connections with everybody, even in the program, is also helpful. So when we link up the once a month, people have a lot to say. Yeah. We don't realize it, but a lot of us have a lot to say. And it sometimes feels like we don't have enough time to speak up on in the sessions. But I guess it's helpful because we all offer advice to each other. Yeah. And I could take it from the conference that we did, that having those connections and having those meetings allows for people to connect with each other and actually help. People don't realize how helpful that person next to you could be because you've never spoken to them about the situation before. Yeah. But I've seen it from, the front that it's so beneficial to connect and talk with people about your own projects because we can all help each other. Yeah. And I think that's a main point for me, is that reach out to those people that are in a similar position to you, or entrepreneurs, and because you're all going through the same thing. Right. Everybody's on the same level.
And you just never know what shared experience could benefit you or could benefit them, and work through it together. It's community is important.
And I especially see that when we come to the meetings. So I think it's great.
I think one of the points that I'm going to just touch on here is the sense of community. Being an entrepreneur can be very lonely.
Yes.
It can be a very lonely experience if you are head down, focused, and that's all you're doing. Yeah. So I think the opportunity to be in the incubator allows us to sort of come up for air for a minute and to connect with others who may not realize that, like as Jasmyn said, there are people that are sitting right next to you that actually could support you in this or this. You know, we had a gentleman in our session who connected with another gentleman, and now they're partnering up in other areas. You know, so just being aware that you're not alone, and it does feel lonely sometimes. You know, it does really feel lonely, and so for me personally, being able to open it up, this particular business, to my family, and then a bit wider from that to embrace the opportunity of the incubator program has definitely been very powerful for me. And the support, you know, I feel like your team and the other entrepreneurs genuinely want to see you succeed.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's positive. You know, we always say, you know, people are happy for you, and I kind of have this thing where not everybody on the sidelines is your cheerleader. You know, not everybody on the sidelines smiling is your cheerleader. Sometimes they're smiling, but they're not really supporting you. And so to be a part of a community like this, everybody is trying to do their thing.
Yeah.
And it's very inspiring to see Bermudians trying to make a difference with their businesses and services.
Yeah. So what does the future hold for Buna? Sorry.
Yeah,
no,
for Buna.
Well, for Buna too, because you said we're reopening. But for Bermuda Buquila first, and then Buna, what does the future hold?
Well, I think in the short term, we are aiming for a soft launch in December.
Okay.
That's our immediate.
Are we going to get to taste?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're looking at having, you know, a small batch bottled and ready to go for Christmas.
Okay.
So we are going to be starting our marketing campaign pretty soon, so people can do pre-orders, because we will have a limited supply. We are also looking at doing some a limited collection for the first 1,000 bottles.
Awesome.
So these will be, you know, we're not going to make these anymore.
Again,
so you will have an opportunity to win if we have some, you know, competitions, and then purchase one of our unique bottles. The idea would be that by April of 2025, we are in full distribution. We are ready to go, you know, a much larger batch. And then within a 2-year period, based upon our numbers, we can expand to our next jurisdiction. So we're looking at sort of the US and Europe.
Yes, thinking outside Bermuda.
Yes,
I love
most
that.
Definitely. And we would have initially started there, but it's because of the logistics of where we are and how we're working, it's best for us to just start small.
Yeah.
And then we're going to build up to it. But our numbers are favorable for us by the end of year 2 going into year 3 to expand. So those projections look good.
Yeah.
And around that time, we should anticipate having Buna ready to house a Bermuda home for Buquila.
Okay. I know lots of people would love for Buna to reopen. I remember it being a really great space just for creatives and everybody to come together. And the shows that you guys did, they were very cool. So looking forward to that, as well as the Buquila.
Yes.
Want to experience both. What tips would you guys have for anybody out there, aspiring entrepreneurs, or even someone that is just maybe considering entrepreneurship and has an idea?
For me, I think it's embrace the fear as a starting point. Recognize it's okay to be nervous, afraid.
Yeah.
If you're not afraid, it's not big enough. You know, your dreams and your goals should be so big and so bold that it should incite fear.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's probably tip 1. And then tip 2 is just go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Like if you feel it, go for it.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be on paper until you actually move.
Yeah. You have to step into it.
You have to step into it. Yeah. You have to like move 100% in to what it looks like at the end. You know, don't get caught up on what it looks like at the beginning.
Yeah.
Project like this is what it's going to look like. We walked into an office space, just for an example, a year ago, and we were looking just for a small office to rent, and the person was renting out the whole 7 rooms. And I said, no, this is not for right now. this is for about 4 years from now, when we're in a position to have the various businesses, this will be our space. Yes. So like we see it, we're projecting, that's what we're aiming for. So you should have direction, like where are you trying to go to? Because that will dictate the path that you're going to take.
Absolutely. Jasmyn, do you have anything?
I would say trust yourself, trust your judgment. You know what you're doing, you know what you're setting out to do. And I would say don't be scared of the failures that happen. Don't let them set you back into being reserved and not progressing. You know, have a clear plan and follow through with that plan. If you follow it and you know it's a good plan, then it's only going to work out in the long run. Sitting on, you know, the bench after something happens and not getting up and continuing is it's not benefiting your business.
Yeah.
So I would say trust yourself, trust your judgment, and don't let the failures stop you. Just keep going.
Absolutely. So for those that want to learn more about Buquila, where can they find you? Is there anywhere they can go right now, or should we just keep in tune for the soft launch later this year?
Well, we are in the process of building our social media platforms.
Okay.
We do have an Instagram page for Buquila. I think we have 1 or 2 posts at this point, but it's just to have it set up. It's at Buquila Bermuda. But if people want information, we can reach us at our Zion International email. So it's info@zioninternational.com. We will be reaching out to the community for people that would like to host tasting parties.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So we are looking for very high-end upscale tasting parties.
All right.
Leading into the Christmas season.
Okay.
You know, we want to create a space where people feel, you know, we're in Bermuda, but we're not in Bermuda. So that's sort of the feel and the culture behind Buquila. You know, embracing our various cultures and heritages, and just journey of the spirit of being, you know, people here in Bermuda and around the world.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so excited about all that you have going on. And we wish you the absolute best.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamila Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.